It's pretty obvious that the next character is going to be Rinoa, but I thought it'd be fun to entertain the idea that it's not Rinoa with some other possibilities. The hints given prior were that it was a girl. The casting and acting of the character was very important to its development. Some part of its kit was changed from its original appearance, which in reality is just a fancy way of saying they removed Angelo. But we can just play pretend, let our minds run wild with speculation on who else it could be. So let's list my rules, or my own self-pertained rules, I guess, of who it could be and who it couldn't be. First, they didn't have any voice acting before. This counts only for modern games only. Something like Guys or some really old franchise that's probably long dead by now, that the actor probably won't ever reprise their role for. That doesn't count, but for the modern games it does. And two, I'm counting characters from spin-off games. And by that I mean Final Fantasy Tactics. Let me level with all of you watching this video. There are very few people who fit this quota that's been brought up by the Famitsu and whatnot that aren't Rinoa. So with that out of the way, let's get to our first guess here. Freya from Final Fantasy IX is my first guess. She doesn't appear to have any kind of voice acting, not in any of the crossover games at least, and definitely not in Final Fantasy IX itself. She's not a human being, so she definitely does stand out compared to the other characters. She's a physical DPS girl, which we really don't have a lot of in the game. We have like 2 girls, if we're counting Cloud of Darkness as a girl, even though it's not a girl, it's an it. What's really unique about her is that unlike the other Dragoons in the series, which most of the turn-based games just spam jump as their unique move, her unique moves include dragon abilities. These would allow her to kind of do enemy-styled buffs, debuffs, and attacks, such as giving everybody berserk in the entire battle, or an MP draining physical attack that's actually stronger than her normal attack. Her dragon skill set relying on taking away status effects from enemies, implementing status effects on all players, implementing status effects on all people in the battle, etc. This would have to be changed in NT, of course. Interestingly enough, she also has Cherry Blossom, which is one of Cloud's HP attacks, as one of her dragon abilities. Along with that, she also has Trance. I would wonder if that would even make the final cut or not, because while Trance is really a strong thing of all of Final Fantasy IX, it's mostly defined by Zidane, I guess, and Kuja, because they get unique abilities that are completely unavailable to them while not in Trance. Meanwhile, characters like Freya and Vivi just get souped up versions of their currently existing attacks. They could change that to be more passive like Zidane's Trance, or make it even better than it was in Final Fantasy IX, along with changing most of our dragon abilities so they aren't just all buffs and debuffs that wouldn't work in NT at all, or just break the balance of the game. Now on to my next guess, Ultima from Final Fantasy Tactics. Again, no voice for her at this moment, and she would be heavily reworked because, well, she's a boss. Also, she has 2 forms, or I guess you could say phases, and in reality, she/it only has 1 direct attack. Divine Ultima or All Ultima, depending on which region you got the game in. All of her other abilities are just kind of buffs and debuffs. Some of these wouldn't even work outside of Final Fantasy Tactics, like abilities that affect CT, which means they have to be heavily changed to work in Dissidia NT. Along with that, she also has Dispelga as one of her attacks, which is, Dispelga in Dissidia NT. So yeah, that would have to be changed too. Her lack of predefined abilities would leave a lot of room for the developers to play around with new attacks, unlike our next person, and my last possible guess, Lady Lilith from Final Fantasy XI. Interestingly enough, looking at her spell list in Final Fantasy XI, she shares almost all of her spells with Shantoto already, the difference being that they're all dark, and that they all have status effects assigned to them, almost all of which are already in NT, even if they are a little bit differently named in Dissidia NT than they are in Final Fantasy XI. Also being the final boss of a major expansion of Final Fantasy XI, I think gives her a little bit more credence towards being actual Dissidia NT character. Either way, that's my fun little video on guessing who could be other than Rinoa. These are my 3 main characters, I hope it is. Also, they all have really unusual weapons when you think about it. Not many characters who actually equip a spear and that's it in Dissidia NT. Only like Kain. Maybe Cecil if you consider his thing as spear, but he also has swords on the side. Bartz and Noctis both use spears as well, but only for 1 attack each. And the other 2 ladies I mentioned are bosses. You can't even equip whatever the hell they use, they're bosses. They don't equip weapons, they're just bosses. I personally have an attachment to Freya. I think she is a great character, so if I could choose anybody, it would be her to be put in NT. That's my opinion, though. I think she's a better character than Rinoa. I think she has a really smaller story than Rinoa. Either way, I'm blue. Hope it's not Rinoa. If you want to be Rinoa, happy for you. You get your character in the game, basically. It's all but confirmed at this point. Either way, see you guys next time. Stay safe, go and your mom, and stay tuned for the July... Is it July? What month are we in? Oh god. The 10th stream. Yeah, it is July. Whew. Right, 4th of July, it was yesterday. Anyways, I'm sorry about this little ramble at the end. I really lose track of time really easily. Alright, tools guys. See you on the stream. Bye! Spear, but he also has swords on the side. Bart's and